Alright, let's talk about a mystery that's been puzzling conservationists in Scotland: why red grouse populations are crashing. Now, I know what you're thinking: grouse? The bird that's basically a cultural icon for Scottish moors? But here's the thing, this isn't just about losing a game species. It's a window into how ecosystems, human activity, and climate change collide in ways we barely understand. Stick with me, because the answers here might surprise you, and they could reshape how we think about conservation in the 21st century. So, the basics: red grouse numbers have plummeted 40% in England and 34% in Scotland since 2024. That's not a slow decline, it's a nosedive. And it's not just one factor. Breeding failures, habitat shifts, parasites, you name it. But what's fascinating is how scientists are tackling this. The Maternal Grouse Project isn't just counting birds, they're tracking individual hens with radio tags, analyzing heather quality, even measuring how often a hen leaves her nest to eat. Personally, I think this level of detail is genius. It's like following a character in a story to understand the plot twists in an entire ecosystem. Let's break this down. Why focus on hens? Well, if you're trying to save a species, the females are the engine room of population growth. But here's what's interesting: the study reveals how tiny variables, a few degrees colder during nesting, a dip in cranifly populations, can cascade into disaster. In my opinion, this flips the script on traditional conservation. We're used to blaming big, obvious threats like hunting or land development. But what if the real culprits are subtle, interconnected stresses? A damp spring might sound minor, but if it floods nests or reduces insect food for chicks, it's catastrophic. And then there's the climate change angle. The team's new rainfall data collection isn't just academic. It's a direct response to the chaos of modern weather patterns. What many people don't realize is that grouse aren't just struggling with too much rain, it's the unpredictability. Droughts followed by deluges mess with heather growth, parasite life cycles, and insect hatches. If you take a step back, this isn't just a Scottish problem. It's a microcosm of how climate change destabilizes ecosystems worldwide. The grouse are screaming, "We can't adapt fast enough." But here's where it gets even more complex: human interests. The study's funders? Game estates that rely on grouse shooting. That's a paradox, right? They're both part of the problem and the solution. On one hand, managed moors have historically prioritized shooting over ecology. On the other, these estates are now critical partners in conservation. What this really suggests is that survival requires uneasy alliances. Sustainable management isn't a buzzword here, it's a survival tactic. Without buy-in from landowners, even the best science becomes a footnote. And what about the bigger picture? The Maternal Grouse Project spans decades of data. That's rare. Most studies are short-term, but this one connects dots across generations. A detail I find fascinating is how they're comparing regions: North Pennines versus Highlands. Are parasites more lethal in one area? Does heather nutrition vary with soil type? This isn't just about saving a bird, it's about mapping resilience itself. If we can decode what makes some populations thrive despite the odds, we'll have a blueprint for conserving other species teetering on the edge. So, what's my takeaway? This study is a reminder that ecosystems are held together by threads we barely understand. Climate change, land use, and economics all tug at those threads. But here's the hope: when science and tradition collide, sometimes they spark innovation. Maybe the red grouse's fate hinges not on choosing between old and new, but weaving them together. And if that works here, it might just give us a playbook for the next crisis, and trust me, there will be a next crisis. What do you think? Can collaboration between hunters and conservationists really save the day, or are we just rearranging deck chairs? Let's talk in the comments.